I saved $10,000 in my 20s without a budget and without willpower. No tracking every coffee, no saying no to everything, none of it. And that's the part most people get wrong. They think saving money is about being disciplined every single day. It's not. It's about setting up a few systems once so the saving happens in the background whether you feel motivated or not. Because here's the truth, willpower runs out, systems don't. Today, I'm breaking down 6 lazy tricks and everyone does the work for you, even on the days you couldn't care less about saving. One of them I almost didn't include because it feels too easy to actually work. By the end of this video, 10K is going to feel a lot more doable than it does right now. And real quick, if you're into saving money, building income, and getting smarter with your money in your 20s, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, the laziest trick is also the most powerful. Automate your saving before you can even touch it. And honestly, I never thought I'd be the type to automate my money. I was always someone who played it safe. So loyal to Chase, I didn't trust any other bank to hold my savings. But I always noticed there was this thing called FDIC insurance underneath a lot of the high-yield savings accounts I'd look at. And once I actually researched what it meant, I felt a lot safer. Like I could finally trust letting my money go somewhere else. I always knew people were making money elsewhere through investing or a high-yield savings account, but honestly, switching banks, not gonna lie, kind of felt like starting a new relationship. So I get the hesitation, but once you do your research to the point where you actually trust it, that's when it all changes. And the thing that made the biggest difference, automating it. Here's why it works. If you have to think about saving, you won't do it. If you don't have to think about it, it just happens. There's actually a famous study where researchers looked at one company's 401k. When people had to sign up themselves, only 37% did. But the second they were enrolled automatically, it jumped to 86%. Same people, same paychecks. The only difference was the setup. That's the whole secret. It's not that you're lazy or bad with money. It's that saving asks you to make a decision every single time. And your brain is wired to dodge those. So you put it off and the money just quietly disappears. So here's the move, automate it. Set it up once and let it run. Whether it's a 401k, a high-yield savings account, or you're investing, it all works for the same reason. The second you take the decision out of your hands, you stop getting in your own way. For example, automate just 10% of a $50,000 salary, and that's nearly $5,000 a year, while you do literally nothing. And that's saving without willpower. And if you're curious what to actually do with that money, what to pay off first, where it should go, the exact system I followed to save my first 100K, I already made a full video breaking it all down. I'll link it down below. Here's a lazy mindset trick that does half the work for you. Stop trying to save 10K. I know that sounds backwards, but a goal like $10,000 feels so far away that your brain doesn't even know where to start. So it freezes and you do nothing. And there's actually a reason for that. Our brains judge money by how big it feels right now, not by what it's actually worth later. So small amounts feel pointless even when they're not. Here's what I mean. Saving $25 a week sounds like nothing, right? Like, why even bother? But I actually ran the math on this. So $25 a week is $1,300 a year. And let's say you invest that in something like the S&P 500, basically the 500 biggest companies in America. Over time, it's gone up way more than it's gone down. So let's say it grows about 7% a year, which is a careful conservative estimate of what it's done over time. In 30 years, that turns into over $130,000. And here's the part that got me. Out of that $130,000, you only actually put in about $39,000. The rest grew on its own, kind of like automating, but for the market. Your money's working even when you're not. All from $25 a week. It only feels pointless because of how small it looked in the moment. So now that we've seen what $25 a week can turn into, let's reverse engineer that $10,000. So let's say your goal is to save $10,000 in a year. That sounds like a lot, but let's actually break it into smaller pieces. So there are 12 months in a year. So if we divide $10,000 across those 12 months, that's about $833 a month. So let's break it down even more. We know that there are roughly 30 days in a month. So if we divide that $833 across those days, that's about $27 a day. So now that we've got $27 a day, that is a number you can actually picture spending each day. So let's ask ourselves, how do we save that? Is it cooking instead of ordering out? Is it making your own coffee at home instead of buying it? Is it canceling those subscriptions you forgot you were even paying for? Because those all add up super quickly. And look, I know $10,000 sounds like a lot this year, but whenever that big number starts to feel scary, just go back to, I literally just need $27 today. It's the same goal, but changing the way you look at it makes the whole thing so much easier. This is the one that honestly changed everything for me, and almost nobody talks about it. Think about the last time you ran into Target for one specific thing, like batteries or pasta sauce, I don't know, a bikini. Did you actually leave with just that one thing? Probably not. You walked out with a candle, a new top, and some snacks you didn't know you needed 20 minutes ago. And listen, that's not you being bad with money. That is exactly what the store was designed to do. So the fix isn't more willpower, it's just not walking in. I try not to put myself there in the first place because if I go to the mall just to walk around, I always leave with something I wasn't even thinking about an hour earlier. And it's not just me. About 80% of people impulse buy in physical stores. 80%. Like if 100 people walk into a store, 80 of them are walking out with something they didn't come for. So this isn't about you being careless. It's entirely an environment thing. Same thing online. About 72% of online shoppers have impulsively bought an item due to an advertised discount. You know the ones. 24 hours early, extra 20% off at checkout, that free shipping bar telling you you're $8 away. That is an advertised discount and is designed to make you buy right now. And here's how to tell if this is happening to you. Do you have your card details saved, one-click checkout turned on, promo emails flooding your inbox, shopping apps sitting right on your home screen? So I really want you to think about which one of those might be contributing to your impulse buying. So once you figured out which ones are getting you, take literally 5 minutes to fix it. Unsubscribe from the emails, delete the saved cards, take the apps off your home screen, that's it. Because once that small thing is handled, you've taken yourself out of the temptation completely. And just like that, no willpower required. And hey, if these are actually helping, do me a quick favor and hit subscribe. I put out videos like this every Sunday on saving, investing, and figuring out money in your 20s. All right, now let's get into tip number 4. So what happens when you actually want something? Because at the end of the day, money isn't supposed to make you feel miserable. If you force yourself to never buy anything fun, that's not the goal. The goal is freedom, being able to splurge once in a while. Because if you keep telling yourself you're never allowed to buy anything fun or fulfilling for yourself, you're just not going to keep up. Not in a healthy way at least. So here's how I fixed it for myself. If there was something unplanned that I still really wanted, I added it to a list and I made myself wait. For small stuff, 24 hours. For bigger purchases like a camera, a laptop, a new phone, I waited 30 days. And I'm gonna give you an example because this literally just happened. I gave my desk a makeover. New ambient lights, new shelf, the whole thing. And I hope you guys like it because you can literally see it in this video. But there were these nano leaf lights I saw online that I really wanted, but it was 300 bucks. I really wanted it, but I told myself I'd at least wait 30 days. And here's the funny part, I didn't think about those lights again until I sat down to make this video, and it's been like a month and a half. Honestly, the spot where I wanted that nano leaf is literally right behind my head right now, and that wall is still empty. There's still space sitting right there, but the want just evaporated. Same thing with a dress I saw at a store. I made myself wait. I opened my closet and I realized I had a similar dress. That's the lesson. We get so obsessed with what we don't have that we forget what we already own. So before you buy, just look at what you've got, because in the moment, wanting something always feels urgent, like maybe it won't be there forever. But most of the time, you won't even remember it. This isn't about depriving yourself of stuff you actually want. It's just about giving it a little time to see if you really need it or if the feeling just passes. This is the one that holds all of it together, because if you try to save, you need a reason behind why you're doing it. So I'll tell you mine. My why is freedom, and it comes from one very specific moment. I did everything right. Got my MBA, learned the corporate world inside and out, and I still grew to hate it. One day I sprained my ankle playing basketball, and I mean, it swelled up to the size of a golf ball. So I worked from home the next day, which was totally normal in my job since I was in recruitment. And then in a meeting in front of the whole team, my boss asked if I could drive in tomorrow. Keep in mind, I drive with my right foot, and that's exactly the one I injured. Like, make it make sense. And that's when it just clicked. In that moment, I realized I wasn't a person to them. I was just just a number. And honestly, I think a lot of workplace cultures are like that. But that's when it hit me. Saving was never about the money for me. It was about never being stuck in a situation where someone else gets to decide what my body can handle. And here's the part that matters most. There's a Yale study that found something kind of crazy. It's not how much money you make that decides if you're happy. It's how much money you feel like you have, especially next to everyone else. So if you're always comparing yourself to other people, you'll feel broke even when you're doing fine. That is why your why matters. It pulls your eyes off everyone else and back on your own life. So I encourage you to figure out your why. Maybe it's never feeling the money stress your parents felt. Maybe it's knowing one bad month can't wreck you. Maybe it's walking away from something that's draining you. Because when your saving means something to you, it stops feeling like holding back and starts feeling like building. So write it down, keep it somewhere you'll see it. Once your why is doing the work, you're not forcing yourself to save anymore, you just do. Most people think saving is income minus expenses, but honestly, a huge chunk of what we spend isn't about needs at all. It's about comparison, and there is this really wild study on it. Researchers found that when someone wins the lottery, it's their neighbors who are more likely to go bankrupt in the years after, not the winner, the people next door, because they watch someone close to them suddenly upgrade, and they try to keep up with money they didn't have. That is how powerful comparison is. It started with comparing ourselves to our neighbors. Now we're doing the same thing to everyone we follow on Instagram. And it's got a name, lifestyle inflation. It's when you make a little more money, so you start spending a little more too. Your friend gets a new car, so now you want one. Someone has a new bag, and suddenly you need it. And listen, I'm not judging anyone. This gets all of us, me included. It always feels like we earned it. But here's the problem. Even when you get the car or the bag or the upgrade, you don't actually feel ahead. You just spent the extra money and stayed in the same spot. You made more, but you kept nothing. So saving more isn't always about making more. A lot of the time, it's just catching yourself in the comparison, because you spend less when you want less, and you want less the second you stop comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. So that's it. That's how you save $10,000 in your 20s without a budget and without relying on willpower. Because notice not one of these were about grinding harder, tracking every dollar, or forcing yourself to have more discipline. Every single one was just a little system that quietly does the work for you. That's the whole point. When the systems are doing the saving, you don't have to. Quick honest note before you go, nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just someone in their 20s sharing what has worked for me. Always do your own research and do what fits your situation. I'll also leave some helpful links down below if you want to check them out, and a couple maybe referral links that support the channel at no extra cost to you. And if you're in your 20s and feeling behind, you're really not. You're here. You're learning this stuff early, and that already puts you ahead of where most people start. So go set up just one of these today, and subscribe if you want to keep figuring this out with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Erin, and remember, we can only go up from here.